Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your mid-month check-in for the month of March. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I get started, and before anybody puts a comment below, the reason that these are mid-month check-ins instead of at the beginning of the month was I had basically some health challenges at the beginning of March where I just needed to rest, see some doctors, take care of myself. I'm feeling much, much better, so thank you for giving me time to prioritize self-care. With all of that being said, now let's get into your channeled messages for this month. As I was tuning into your sign, there were two things that came through. The first thing was to not let people get under your skin. Don't sweat the small stuff is the way that Spirit kind of stuck it in my head. And what I was shown was a scene where someone was giving feedback. Now, if somebody gives constructive feedback, it's a lot easier because they may give you advice, tactical ways to make things better, and it feels good. It's like, okay, well, I have a point of view that I can sit with. If they just complain, and sometimes people just complain, or if they're just overly critical without any helpful advice, take it with a grain of salt. Because you don't want that to burst your bubble and take away some of your momentum. And this leads into the second thing that I saw, which was basically a vehicle running on steam. And that's just a turn of phrase, meaning that there wasn't enough gas in the tank or petrol in the tank, and it's just slowly running out of fuel. So it's really, really important for you to get ample rest, to do things that refuel you, recharge you. And that includes fun, sleep, exercise, eating properly, all sorts, and actually social engagements, just anything that kind of lights you up so that you have enough fuel to get to your destination. Because if you run yourself ragged, then there's not going to be ample energy to embrace new opportunities when they come knocking, or to deal with challenges when they also come across your path, especially someone that might be complaining or offering criticism. You won't be at your best and you won't be able to kind of like see it for what it is. So try not to run on steam. Don't sweat the small stuff. Before I shuffle the cards, let's take a quick look at Apollo. Give him a little pat on the head. Yeah, we're talking about you, buddy. It's a good dog. Yes, you are. Good boy. All right, let's take a nice deep breath and set the intentions for this reading. So imagine that the sun is shining overhead, creating a halo of light around your body, protecting you and connecting you to Source. Within this circle, know that you are now connected to your guides as well, so you can welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. I like what I see so far, I have to say. All right, let's begin with your catalyst. I was going to say you just have one catalyst, but it's so weird. As I was shuffling, an extra card showed up here and was face down. So you have two catalysts this month. One of them is titled The Crossroads. That's the one I pulled. And then we have Kick Up Your Heels as the secondary one. So we're going to talk about the Crossroads first. It's in the reverse position. And this is for many of you showing that it's difficult to let go of something. It feels like you're on the precipice of like taking a turn in your life, but there's an anchor that's holding you to the past, because normally I would see this as two future possibilities, but with it reversed, it feels like one of them is either something that you're waiting on from the past, or a regret, or a wish, or something that didn't complete. So because it's a mid-month checkpoint, we're still in the throes of retrograde, it's a great time to wrap up unfinished business. So this doesn't strike me as an either or. It feels like you might need to explore or finish or complete one thing before you give yourself permission to go on the other one. Ultimately, the choice, though, is where's the focus going to be? Are we looking toward the future? Or are we focusing a little bit more in the past? The encouragement always is to move forward, but if you need to resolve something first, by all means do that. This is also akin to like the Two of Swords, where nobody is going to tell you exactly where to go but you. You have to look within and feel it out. There's lines in the original series for the Star Wars movies, not the prequel, but like, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, where constantly, like Obi-Wan will say, search your feelings, Luke. Or even Luke says it to his sister, search your feelings, you'll know it to be true. So in your gut, it feels like there's something you're more attached to, something that feels right, something that feels like it's the natural path to go to. That's the one, okay? And even if it looks better on paper, if it doesn't feel good internally, it's not right for you. So wrap up old business or unfinished business, then allow yourself to move on to the new path, the one that feels right to you. So the bonus and the clarifying card for this is to kick up your heels. One of the ways you can get to your decisive sort of point is just to relax a little bit. If we put too much pressure on ourselves, like I have to figure this out tonight, it makes your blood pressure rise. It takes you out of your zen and ability to focus. So what's really important right now is just to breathe. And for me, like today I took a hike. It's something I haven't been able to do in a while because as you can see, Apollo looks impeccable, his grooming, right? So he was getting groomed and I decided to take a hike, and it felt so good to break a sweat, to get out in nature, to get away from things and unplug for a little bit. And my mind cleared up at that point too, like things that I needed to focus on. So it can actually legitimately be sleep, or it can just be something that allows you to feel relaxed. And sometimes that can be like exercise or cleaning. It doesn't have to just be, resting or being in a lotus position. Find your zen wherever that zen might be, okay? Let's check in on the rest of the cards here. I'm excited for you, actually. This whole spread looks good. We're not looking at many troublesome cards. We have a little bit of a paradigm shift in the recent past, which I think also was explained by this card, but most of the rest are fantastic. Beginning with like an ace. I was excited the minute I saw that you have an Ace of Pentacles. So what's cool with this one is it's almost like an eclipse. You can see like the corona of the sun, or like a sunrise where the sun is peeking out. I feel like some of you have been sitting with something for a while, but the germination, the realization, the manifestation is right here and right now, provided that you don't give up. So aces are potential, but they require faith, they require effort and nurturing. Think of it like an egg that a bird will sit on and incubate. It has to keep an eye on it. It has to keep taking care of it. So whatever your goal, dream, vision, or your ace is, don't give up. So the second big message this month, after don't sweat the small stuff and, make sure you're not running on steam, is don't give up. This card is transactional. So there could be someone asking you for something. There could be someone offering you. You could be the one reaching out and saying that I want it. Doesn't matter which of those three is happening. This is auspicious, and it shows that this should be a transaction, move, or change for the better. So I'm excited about that for you. The other thing is really think of one area in your life for the next 15 days or so where you can make a big impact, a big splash. That should be where you focus your energy. And that's why with the catalyst, I would encourage you to wrap up old business sooner rather than later so that you can explore the path ahead, okay? Let's see what's crossing this card. All right, so on top of this Ace of Pentacles, we have the Page of Swords. Communication. Communicating what it is you want, getting it into writing. So if this is your idea, this is your plan, this is the blueprint. What's your blueprint? What's your goal for not just this month, this next 2-week period for that matter, but like, let's go a couple of years out from now. You don't have to drive yourself crazy by looking at 10 years or whatever, but just like the next couple of years. Where do you see yourself in relationships, with your health, with your finances, with your job, personal development? Put some goals in place for yourself. Those goals actually become the blueprint, and you're telling spirit in no uncertain terms, I'm ready. And so I have a new book where I put the things I'm ready for. I have like one for gratitude and one for like preparation and manifestation. So I'm grateful for this and I'm ready for that. And that's a good order in which to put this. Pages speak, but they also listen. Listen for the opportunity because someone may be hinting at it for you. Speak if you have something that you want. The two of these cards together are kind of magical. So make sure that you speak up, make sure that you take action, and know that there are some people that are interested. We have the lovers here that are kind of connecting here. So it does feel like things are starting to work out. But let's first take a look at what's been going on in the deep past so we can prepare you for the lovers moment. What I love most about this interpretation of the Eight of Pentacles compared to the original is he's looking at things moving. Here, there's a lot of focus on detail. And by the way, Eight of Pentacles shows a return on your energetic investment. So whether you're learning or creating or producing something, this is showing that this is a great time to do just that. But in this particular illustration, the person's looking up and looking around. Sometimes if we are too kind of like pinpoint focused, we miss the big picture. And so he's only looking at the task at hand, where this person is aware of that task plus all the options, all the opportunities that might be knocking. So first and foremost, it looks like you've done the work. It's a studious card. It can represent rather going to school, learning a new skill or trade, getting certification, self-improvement of any sort, just kind of like trying to better yourself. And it shows that progress is being made. There is a very detail-oriented energy to this. And because of the way this illustration is framed, it's saying, take a moment, celebrate just how far you've come. Yes, continue to put in the work. That's a part of this card. But I like the whimsical energy of this. He's wishing as he's doing this too. He's dreaming, he's wishing, he's breathing life into things. One of those aces could represent like the ace that we saw at the center. So really putting the work in. Because this is in a karmic position, many of you have already done it, but there is this feeling of, why isn't it here yet? A little bit of impatience. But I see success right around the corner, so be patient. Don't give up. By the way, before I move on, for some of you, because it wasn't a past position and the crossroads card was reversed, you could be going back to wrap up a project, go back to school, finish something that was never completed before, and that's going to be advantageous. All right, in the recent past, we have a paradigm shift. The card, of course, was reversed, but it's nicer to look at it in the upright position so we can take in the imagery. In the background, we see 3 cups that are spilled, and in the foreground or right around him, we see 2 upright cups. Look at how brilliant the light is around his head. So I like this one because he's focusing on the now and the next. The reversal of this card shows me that for some of you, you may be afraid to let go of the grieving process, or there's still maybe a little bit of regret, would have, could have, should have energy around something in the past. The minute you forgive yourself, the minute you let go, that's when things start to get exciting and one of those 2 cups starts to come into your life. Passion, ideation, creativity, sensitivity. But you have to give yourself time rather to process. So if you haven't adequately carved out time to sort of like decompress and process things, now is the time to do that. This, again, could just be a regret or desire connected to these 2. This is something where, again, it's like 80% done, but it kind of gets left here. And this card is saying, before I move to all of this cool stuff, let me just finish that. So please do finish up unfinished business, because what's waiting here in the crowning position is super auspicious. This is pretty unusual here. We have both the 6 of Wands and the 7 of Wands, and they're in rapid succession. So The presenting energy is success personified here in the Six of Wands. We see someone marching forward and people ready to follow. It's important to have a clear vision of what it is that you want to do and really to lean into being a little bit more decisive. That's why wrapping things up, releasing anything that's kind of holding you down energetically is going to be important, because it also feels like things are going to march on pretty quickly for the rest of this month. Success is yours to have. Whoever in your life might have made you doubt your ability to succeed, this in the crowning position is coming through to remind you that anything is possible within reason. But it's encouraging us to go to best case scenario rather than worst case scenario. It's so easy to think, well, what if this happens? And what's the worst thing can happen? Instead, if we focus on the optimal outcome, so much can benefit from that. So in this moment in time, really lean into thinking, I can, I will, I am. You know that mantra for those of you that are OG watchers of this channel. You may need to lead the charge. This is a card of leadership, and that means sometimes it's a little lonely or a little bit off-putting in that leadership role, because you can't just follow someone else. So do what's right for you, not what's expected, not what's necessarily pushed upon you, and then success is coming, because right under this card we have the Seven of Wands. This is basically the aftermath of the Six of Wands. People see that you're capable, they see that you're succeeding, and they want to be a part of it. So you may have more opportunities knocking at the door, and you have to stand your ground, which is what this person is doing. I like that there's not the typical sort of like defensive stance that we see. Instead, the person just clearly and easily, without getting too defensive, says yes or no. Yes, let's do this, or no, I don't have time for this. You can also delegate or defer it and say, I can deal with that next week. Is that good for you? Or you should talk to this person. I have a lot on my plate. So be clear without apologies. That's really what we're seeing with this. Also, when you are a little bit more in the spotlight, when you're more accountable and more seen, then oftentimes there's just more scrutiny. And remember what I said at the beginning about not letting people get under your skin. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's why this came through. Everyone has an opinion. Not all opinions are equal. Everyone can come up with criticism. Not all criticism is constructive. So unless there's a constructive element to it, let it go. All right? This card is also about firming up your own defenses in your life. So speaking of health, making sure that you're eating well, exercising well, resting well, so you don't run on vapors like I saw. When you're looking at insurance, making sure that you have enough, and also just having good boundaries and limits in your life. All of these things are, interestingly enough, going to help you stay in the frequency of success. As we take a look here at the near future, we have the Lovers coming through, which is really auspicious. Of course, this can represent new love, partnership, or friendship coming through. And again, I kind of tie it to this card where we could be focusing on the past or the two cups that are in front of this person, and that can represent someone coming into your life. Whether it's a friend, a new ally, or some sort of connection, the Lovers represents an auspicious one at that. This is also magnetic energy. When you feel a sense of self-love, self-confidence, and self-respect, it attracts the same in your general vicinity. So this is a time to get out there, mix and mingle, and meet other people. It can help you on all levels, not just from like a practical and tactical standpoint, but also like mental health and emotional well-being. This is a time to prioritize relationships, and as we continue to look at the cards, we'll see how this comes into play. But first things first, we need to see how you're showing up here, and it's pretty good, folks. So the Judgment card is representing the ability for you to reinvent, to rise up from any challenge that might have existed in the past, and really come into your own. The angel in the corner that is sounding the horn is basically a call to action. And kind of like a wake-up call from Spirit. If you could imagine that there's an alarm clock waking you up, this is it. And it's saying, this is the moment. There's no snooze button. So what's left of this month, since it's a mid-month check-in, needs to be one that is based on action and also like surrendering to the call. Whatever your inner call is, whether it's to help other people, entertain other people, to inform yourself, to grow, whatever I was asking you to think like a couple of years into the future. What is the long-term goal on the horizon? This is what everything is going to sort of like move or radiate around. Unlike justice, where the scales are there and you're weighing the option, typically judgment is the declaration of the decision. So at least on a subtle level, like on a heart, soul, and energy level, something has been decided. The acceptance and the communication and the action that happens, that's what the rest of this month is all about. So give yourself time to be still. Whatever challenge is in front of you, it's already been figured out. That can actually help you. That can help you not get stressed about what to do. Just know that the solution is there. If you can stop overthinking, if you can just go search the feelings and go into what your soul already knows, and then just give it a shot. The soul's rising up from the dead. Whatever sort of like setback, stop, rejection, etc. happened, it's temporary and it doesn't define the next step. This is about breaking through any sort of block and breaking through any sort of glass ceiling. This is just the beginning, but it does require you to get out of your comfort zone. This is not a time to rinse and repeat. We'll go into this when I look at health in particular, but it's coming through right now, so I want to mention it when it comes through. If you've had an experience in your health that wakes you up, like I did, take that as a wake-up call and say, okay, maybe that scared me in the moment, but I'm going to get very engaged now and make the necessary changes and basically take action. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in the environment. It's good, folks. We have the Wheel of Fortune. There could be a new job, a new opportunity, or some new resources that are opening up to you. The key here is, kind of reminds me of the center Ace of Pentacles. Are you ready to embrace it? And also the follow through, the sort of investment that you're doing in that goal, in that dream, in that long-term horizon sort of goal that we talked about earlier. That's going to help you get to the Wheel of Fortune a lot faster. This is a cyclical card. So just like the World card, or like the Fool, because there are ends and beginnings, this can show that you're stepping into something new that could also take you through up to 10 to 12 months of change, growth, and development. There's also a message within the Wheel of Fortune, which is that basically you have to sort of like take a chance on yourself. Like the TV show where you're spinning that actual wheel, sometimes you have to say, I believe in myself enough to go for this, to set it into motion, okay? This is a really good time for you to take a look at where you're at from your financial perspective, and also just what your, not just your budget, but like your schedule looks like, to make sure that we talked about the return on the energy. Eight of Pentacles shows a return on it. Make sure that what you're putting in, you're at least breaking even, if not getting more. If there's any deficits where you're putting way too much time, energy, love, attention, effort, but not receiving, now is the time to bring some balance, to prune where necessary. But ultimately, there could be an opportunity knocking this month. And here's what's cool about it. We have Lovers over here, Wheel of Fortune over here. So in a relationship, this is actually commitment. So if I'm doing a love reading and I get the Ace of Pentacles and the Lovers, this tells me someone's interested. If I'm doing a job reading and I get this, they love what they see and they're willing to invest. And when we look all the way across here, it's important to let go of whatever failures or setbacks might have existed in the past and focus instead on this beautiful line from the present to the near future to the environment. Opportunities are knocking. And the Page of Swords is also signing on the dotted line or speaking up. This is 1 month during which you can negotiate and get what you want, because we have success here in the crowning position. Don't sell yourself short. Okay, what's coming through in hope spheres and opportunities? Well, it's also good. We have the 10 of Wands, completion, travel, basically bringing something to the finish line. One of the things that's really, really important with the 10 of Wands is not to feel this sort of energy of being burdened, but rather look at how far I've come. I want to see this through. I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking. If you feel overwhelmed, you know, if you watch this channel enough, that Wands is a suit where you can always take a step back or delegate, and you're still succeeding. There really don't exist any Wands cards that are negative. It's not like the Suit of Swords where it's trying to teach you lessons. This is more about management. So if you're feeling this, overwhelmed, then delegate. You can go into the energy that we saw at the very top here with basically the 7 of Wands or the 6 of Wands. So you can step forward and do your own thing, or you can delegate to others. You can say no. You can partner with people like the Four of Wands. You don't have to do this all on your own, but suffice it to say, the opportunity here is to finish something. You can finish whatever it is that you're starting. You can see something through. You may be dealing with a little bit more. So in order for that to happen, you might have to let some things go, and basically say, I can't do this. Remember the clarity of the yes or the no, so important here. All right. Now, if you are looking for a job or something like that, there could be a traveling component to that. If you're looking at moving in with someone, I'm seeing that too. Moving up, moving on, moving out. It's all part of this. And then finally, because of that, no surprise, some of you could be feeling a degree of fatigue. The Ace of Wands in the upright position is like a light bulb, new ideas, new vitality, lots of energy. But when reversed, it can represent this feeling of depletion or just maybe like mental fatigue. So if we look really close, there's a little scarab beetle there. And the scarab beetle is basically the pendant on the necklace. The scarab represents rebirth and reincarnation, which is part of this. So there is nothing this month that is going to constitute a full block. It's helping you pivot. It's helping you see something. If you feel this sense of exhaustion or failure or like you can't get through this, rest, take a step back, recalibrate, and know that tomorrow, the day after that, they're going to bring some opportunities and some changes. Today is a day to just breathe. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Like I said at the very beginning, don't sweat the small stuff. Instead, focus on the big picture. That's a perfect segue to take a look at the expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. A reminder that with the exception of love, I'm going to not go as deep into some of these because it's a mid-month checkpoint. And so if you ever need to reach out to me, book an appointment, continue the conversation, you can get information on my website. But for now, let's take a look at health, which is your mind, body, and spirit, and see what's coming through. All right, you actually have two cards that came through here, Hanuman and Lady Portia. So let's talk about them. All right, so for the first one, we have Devoted Warrior, let God's love hold you in strength. So I'm looking at the warrior piece, and this is also about fighting back. So this card is basically, like I said, it can be a reset in your health or a wake-up call. This is saying, I'm going to fight to bring this into balance. And I have more strength than I might imagine. So a tarot card would be like strength or justice, creating balance and fighting for your own health and well-being. The card that was underneath this in the reverse position is Lady Portia, and it reads overcoming limitations. Karmic release, let go of the need to be right. Oh, that's so hard. Part of this is, though, forgiving yourself for not knowing and admitting like, oh, even if you did know better, now is the moment that's most important. Whether it was ignorance or stubbornness that maybe created the wake-up call or the current challenge that might be in front of you, the key to success is forgiving, educating, and initiating. And once you do that, you're going to be able to create more possibilities and, again, find an inner strength that you didn't even know you had. So this is what we're going to focus on. All right, let's just look at the messages here broadly about health and see how it all connects. First of all, I mentioned the importance of people. We don't always look at that as what's healthy or what's necessary, but friends, family, community. I'm really getting that with the lovers. Also, doing something that you love can also connect you with these people as well. So picking up a hobby, a sport, or an activity, naturally going to help you make new connections. So with the Seven of Wands, there's always a general nudge not to overdo things when it comes to like working out or changing your diet. Any extreme changes can sometimes create imbalance. So steady, slow and steady is where you really want to put this. There's a little bit of grieving or grief that might be sitting with some of you. This can also be regret or frustration, but the best is yet to come. And I see a lot of positivity as I look at the rest of this spread. So allowing this moment to be received, to be processed, but not to dominate the rest of the month, that would be my general advice. This is like having a lot resting on your shoulders, responsibility, expectation. It could be from loved ones. It could be from family. It could be from just the world at large, but you don't have to do this all on your own. That's the delegation energy working. Smarter, not necessarily overwhelming yourself and burning the candle at both ends. A lack of vitality. And again, this can come from working too much or pushing yourself too much. Pace yourself. Ask for help if you need it. We see that right here. Also, the Ace of Wands in reverse can be like a lack of passion. We'll talk about that more when we go into relationships. But when it's work or anything else in your life, this can actually end up exhausting you and then creating some challenges in health. So if something is depleting your energy or is boring you or is making you feel tired, etc., take care of yourself. A lot of focus on work this month. That is the source of some of the best moments and some of the heaviest moments. So it needs to have its own spot and space, but it shouldn't kind of like take away from everything positive that we see here. Okay. One last thing, there could be some changes going on in your life. Sometimes it's a milestone birthday. It could also be, things like menopause or retirement or maybe a wake-up call like I had with like whether it's like blood pressure or something like that. Whatever it is, there are things that just happen in our life to kind of help us recalibrate. If you focus on it as a recalibrating moment and don't carry like things too heavily or personally, but reach out to others and let things go, you're going to be okay. We see things moving in a good direction with the Wheel of Fortune, so I do feel heartened and positive overall about what this month is bringing for you. All right, so we just looked at health. Why don't we move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. I'm just going to pull the card up here. So it says, enter the conversation. What a great energy to be coming through for career and wealth and money. Doesn't matter what stage or phase of life you're in, whether you're planning for college or you're in the middle of your work or you're retired or you're just looking at the bank account wondering, do I have enough for X, Y, or Z? This is a time to speak up and ask questions. There are no questions that are dumb or silly. You have to basically take the reins and say, I have a stake in this. It's important. I need to understand. All right, let's now take a look at this from a high-level view and help everybody. It doesn't matter what stage or phase of life you're in. Here's what I see going on. First of all, you are capable of accomplishing goals and being successful. If you currently have a job or you're looking for a job, the Ace of Pentacles represents an opportunity knocking. And these three cards together, Ace of Pentacles, Lovers, and the Wheel of Fortune, show me that whether you're working or looking for work or you're trying to level up, things are aligning for you. One of the challenges here is sharing your ideas. So the Page of Swords is communication. This is conversation, communication. Share your ideas in real time rather than letting someone else, the early bird, get the worm, okay? If you want to go up a level, if you're interested in an opportunity, this includes job seekers and those looking for a promotion, reach for it because someone may be waiting for you to show that that's what you want. Some of you feel stuck, and if you do feel stuck, there are options on the horizon if you're willing to travel. For those of you looking for work, there's options if you're willing to travel. For everyone else, students and retirees and everyone that just is looking at this for some general advice, here's what I see. There's more than one way to make the next move. Like I said, I feel like the crossroads contains within it some unfinished business, a little bit of emotions that need to be unpackaged so that you can focus on where you want to go next. And then once you make your mind up, once you plant the seed, there is receipt, there is progress, there is movement. The main thing here is if you don't feel it, then it might be time to shift in a new direction, okay? I'm not seeing that many things here that are really a challenge, other than leaning into an inner decision that may surprise you, but you feel it nonetheless. One thing here that I would say for those that are presently employed or even for those that are in school, there could be a change of guard, new teacher, new ownership, new investors, something new coming in. And some of you are also trying to figure out if you've learned everything that you need to from this current phase, if you want to maybe shift into a different industry, into a different topic, into something that you haven't done before. And that really kind of goes back to the main message here, which is don't rinse and repeat. Whatever the new opportunity is, whether it's getting a new job, leveling up, studying something, or if you're entering into a big phase like retirement, the next chapter will and should look and feel different. But the big strengths You have good ideas, speak up. Partnership is very important this month. You don't have to do things alone. Share the load. It's a great time to get in front of people and try to make a connection. If you're looking for things, we see openings, at least 2. We see a general increase when it comes to finances from the 8 to the Wheel of Fortune, and in the middle, something wonderful that kind of connects both of those. And ultimately, I feel quite heartened by this. People may push you into a spotlight and have you kind of like speak up, but you're positioned for success, okay? Overall, looking really, really good. Let's focus on love now. We have the white owl coming through. It's reversed. You can be right without saying you're right. You can be right without saying, I told you so, because the white owl often comes through when it's almost like you're pushing your wisdom or your experience on someone else and then holding it against them if they don't agree. Even if you were right and they didn't listen, try not to say I told you so. That's one piece of advice that I have here. All right. We'll break this down because there's only 3 parts. If you're in a partnership, it looks great, I have to say, especially what I'm seeing here. It feels like the commitment has grown a little bit deeper, like friendship and love, commitment, and really sort of like building a future together, possibly even feeling some of the benefits of not having to financially do everything on your own. There's a lot of advantages to the partnership. The one thing that's lacking is passion. And it's not like passion and intimacy. It's not just sex. It's spending time together, but it can include being intimate with each other. And I think one of the challenges for many of you isn't so much that the spark is gone, but that there's so much going on. Because I see love here, and that comprises passion. But there's a lot of work. There's a lot of responsibility. Some of you might be doing a long distance relationship because of work. I also see a life change that could have happened for some of you, like a wake-up call, a near miss, something where it's like, whew. So you're just catching your breath here a little bit. Also, the grieving energy, this can be a loss of a loved one or separation from someone, and that hits you. So this is a time to lean into the love that you have, and you can deepen it. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? You can. You're probably going to find a karmic connection. Judgment, death, and like 6 of Swords often indicate past life connections. We have an air sign coming through here, so an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra with the Page of Swords. There's interest. So I like the air sign energy. I also think this can just represent making the first move because it's communication. But Ace of Pentacles, mutual interest, some love. Also, things move fast, so just make sure that you're not feeling overwhelmed. My only warning is if you don't feel the spark, don't move forward. Be honest with the person, because it could look good on paper, but you may not be feeling the butterflies that you're expecting, okay? If you're single and happy, the energy of success and new resources coming through, a persuasive quality that you have, stronger now than usual, and this can help open up new doors for you. So I feel like this is a really good month to get strategic with building relationships, moving resources forward, and just saying goodbye to some people, places, and things, closing a chapter so you can embrace what we see here, okay? Moving on to destiny, we have anguish coming through. This is very much like the 10 of Swords. So if 10 of Swords energy enters into our life, we sometimes beat ourselves up. We feel like I didn't do what I intended to do. I'm a failure, or you feel the pain of rejection. And really the 10 of Swords comes through as a moment of awakening. Kind of like if you touch something and it's hot and you move away before you get burned. So that sting, that pain that you feel is teaching, guiding, and directing you into a better path. It's real, it hurts, but it doesn't have to feel as intense as it is. Also, anguish. Whatever's going on, talk it out. Don't hold it in, because it will find a way. And you don't really want the body to find another way to process some of those heavier emotions. Talk it out, cry it out, work it out. If you're going to go exercise, write it down, somehow get it out of your body, and then look at it and think about, is it worth, taking me out of this energy of opportunity, which we saw here, or can I find a way to process this and heal this? Because healing really is the opportunity, but something around you or something in your inner circle could be causing that frustration. Pay attention to it, address it, and then release it, okay? Now you can ask one final question. This can be anything that you still need a little bit of assistance with. Formulate that question. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Ooh, we like this. Okay. Beautifully aligned to actually like the Lover's card, but we have Two of Cups. For yes or no, it's yes, comma. However, it's going to be better when you do this with a partner. So a new opportunity, a new alignment, a new decision. You can, like, the power of partnership, friendship, advice is going to help. So think about this, but leaning on the support of someone else. Generally speaking, this is showing a deepening of love, that there are new and I would say engaging potential relationships coming through, not just love, but it could be in a strategic partnership, a new friendship, someone that knows someone that can help you connect to what you want. But you have the power this month to make great connections. If you have an important conversation, try to have it heart to heart, face to face, and see someone and meet someone where they're at, okay? Beautiful energy. That, my friends, is everything for this month. So I'd like to just say thank you for showing up today. I wouldn't be here without your love and support. If you'd like to show a little bit of love and support, there's a few ways you can do that. The easiest, of course, is just to hit like and subscribe, to leave a comment and let me know what resonated the most. I mentioned earlier that I've opened up my private reading schedule. All of those are available on my website, all the openings. You can go to the main channel page, click the link to go to my website, and it's all there, or this is the direct link. To get to my website, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, you can also join me across social media. My handle is usually my name on all of the major platforms which you see here. Any exceptions like Blue Sky are listed. Again, my website lists all of those. To stay here on YouTube and give a little bit of love, you can do it through basically becoming a member or leaving a sticker with your comment. And on a live stream, you can do a super chat. Also, I do have a PayPal. This is the address for that. Again, when in doubt, go straight to my website. All the official links are there. And that, my friends, is everything. Let's say goodbye to Apollo for tonight, and then we'll wrap up. Hey, buddy. I'm just going to give you a little pat on the head. I know. We haven't forgotten you, buddy. All right. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you so much for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube. Check out the main channel for more information on the daily and weekly forecasts. And until I see you next, take care.